Oh, hi folks. Thanks for taking the time to watch this short video tutorial on how to get into the platform, find your session, and of course enter the room that you're going to be presenting in. The whole process should start with an email that you receive from myself, which will look something similar to this. It contains some vital information. One of them is your individual access link. As it says in the email, this link is dedicated for you. It's not to be shared with others. If you've got colleagues who need to access the platform, then there's a general webcast link that they can enter as a delegate. But this link that's dedicated to it's tied to your email address, so don't share it with others. And of course, the second bit of information that's vital in this email is the session that you have been added to. It will be listed here. So once you've got your link, click onto it and you will land on the platform. You'll end up in what's called the entrance. It looks something similar to this. And of course, what you can see is a number of icons flashing away, which correspond to the same icons down here on the left-hand side. The one that's the most relevant to you guys is this conference icon. So you can click on conference here, or you can click on conference over here on the left hand side, and you'll see when you do that it lists all of the sessions that have been added to the virtual event. It's across 2 days, so you can either look at them all or you can single out the day that's relevant to you, whether that's the Thursday or the Friday, or you can list them all. Obviously, go back to your email so you can figure out what session it is that you've been added to. Some of you may have been added to more than one session, and the same will apply, but for the benefit of this little video, we'll just concentrate on those of you who have only been added to one. So find the session that you know that you've been added to, and then what it'll say is name of the session. It will probably list your name and fellow panel members if you're in a panel discussion, and it should say join, and next to it it'll say Backstage. So when you join, it'll do exactly that. It puts you into the room in question. There you go. My camera has just come live, and of course it tells me in the bottom left corner, you'll notice in the bottom left, that I am backstage in this particular session, which is called the City Transformation. So I've joined this particular session. My camera has come on. You'll notice here in the bottom right corner I can exit the room, and of course the join button then appears. So if I click join, again my camera should come on any second. Now if you don't get to see yourself, your camera doesn't come on, then there is a potential blockage somewhere. So one of the things you may need to do is take a look up in the top right corner here. You can see this little spanner and screwdriver icon. If you click on it, it brings up a little window. It shows you your camera. Again, you can see my little camera playing. If that's not there, then your camera's not on, it's not open. You may need to either reboot, or if you're using a choice of different cameras you may have on your laptop or your MacBook or your PC, you might need to select the camera that you use. And the same applies with your microphone. And of course, one of the things that we suggest that you use when you log on the platform is you use Google Chrome as your choice of browser. And one of the things that should ask you as you first log in is that you need to grant access to Chrome to access your camera. So if you're not seeing yourself, you need to take care of that and make sure that's all boxed off. Then just make sure that your camera and, as I say, your microphone works. But ultimately, once all that's done, you'll see yourself sitting backstage. If you're part of a panel discussion and there's going to be numerous other people joining you, and you need to know who they are going to be, if you take a look at these little tabs over here on the right hand side, you can see there's a whole bunch of tabs. Click on the one that says panelist, and it lists all of the people that are going to be part of this discussion. So in this particular instance, you've got Paul and you've got John, who are going to be sharing the stage in this particular session. So Paul and John, when you both enter this particular session, you'll both see each other backstage. You can be joined by anybody else who's listed as admins on the from the event team. But ultimately, whilst you are backstage, you can't be seen by anyone in the audience. And obviously, come event day, when it's time for your session to commence, you'll need to transport yourself from being backstage, where you are now, to being on stage so that the audience can see you. So this platform works similar to a theatre. Every session that you go into, it's got a backstage area, it's got an on-stage area. Like a theatre, you're not going to see anything going on stage if you're sitting backstage, so you'll need to go live and of course be on stage so the audience can see you. So it's a very simple process. You simply click on that little go live button, and you'll get a 5-second countdown as you're seeing there now, and of course your camera will come live again. I'll just wait for that to happen. There we go. It now tells you, bottom left corner, you can see that I'm now live. I'm in front of an audience. It's also being recorded. And you can also see this little eye symbol here. If you can see my little mouse cursor, you can see a little eye symbol with the number 0 against it. And why that's important is because that's the number of people that are sitting in the audience watching you. And right now, as I'm recording this, there's nobody here, which is great. So of course, on event day, I'm sure that will be different. If you need to know who those people are, how many people are watching, then just keep an eye on that particular that figure. So of course, when you're live, as I've already touched on, you can be seen by your audience. This is the point you'd begin the panel discussion, the seminar, the keynote, the presentation, whatever it is that you're going to do. You've got the option, a number of icons appear across the bottom of the screen. You can mute yourself just like you would on Teams or on Zoom. You can turn your camera on and off, again, like on Teams or Zoom. You can share your screen, so you can click on the screen share button, and it gives you an option of what it is you can share, from an entire screen to a particular window or an application like PowerPoint, or if you wanted to demonstrate something that was online, then click on a Chrome tab. And of course, the moment you do that, then it'll give you the option of what it is. You would just highlight what it is that you're going to share. And as soon as you click on it, it illuminates the share button. And of course, click share and you'll get a split screen, and it will go into share mode. Very similar to what you'll have done or what you've used on Teams or Zoom. I know a number of you are going to be part of panel discussions, so there's a strong chance that you won't need to make use of the screen share button. You can, of course, if you want to, add a virtual background. If you click on the virtual background button, then there's a whole host of generic images that have been added to the platform. And if you really want to be funky and creative, you can upload your own. It tells you there how to upload your own, or just, as I say, use one of the generic images. Whilst you're live, you're probably wondering how you get interaction. It happens in a number of ways. The delegates who are watching, they are watching and listening to you as you are presenting. They have what's called a reaction button across the bottom of their screen that can give you the thumbs up. That can send you various emojis, from happy faces, smiling faces, crying faces, all that sort of good stuff. They can give you rounds of applause and all different kinds of reactions. So that's one way they'll interact. The second way is in these tabs up here on the right hand side. You've got the discuss tab where you can post comments and chat, and any kind of feedback. Any delegate can post into that discuss tab, whereas the Q&A tab is more specifically for direct questions. So if any delegates have got questions that want to ask, then encourage them to put them into the Q&A tab, the question and answers tab, so that you can pick them up and deal with them. Once your presentation's finished and your time has come to an end, it's just a simple case of clicking on the Go Backstage button. You'll notice it was green before and it said Go Live. It's now red and it says Go Backstage. So when you finish presenting, click on that Go Backstage button. It takes you back to the safety of the backstage area, which is where you started out originally. And obviously, if you've got fellow panel members and you've all come backstage, it's at this point you can breathe a sigh of relief. And of course, if you at that stage, you can move off and go and look at other sessions. So if I exit this particular room altogether and click on the X and get rid of it, you'll see that goes back to listing all of the sessions in the conference. If you've been added to more than one session as a speaker or a presenter, then just flick through the sessions and you'll see your icon will appear. And of course, that means you've also got the ability to join that session and start out backstage in exactly the same way I've just showed you. But of course, the other sessions, if you haven't been added to them, doesn't mean to say that you can't access them. You can. And what will happen on there is when you enter them, you'll enter them in the same way that a delegate would, where you put in the audience ready for that particular presenter to start. Now, although it says these sessions are due to run on the 7th and the 8th of October. You can see it's in a logical time order. The platform is actually live now. So you can drop onto the platform as many times as you like. The link that you've been sent, you can use as many times as you like to come in and out of the platform. And of course, the only key difference being is that you're not going to find an audience up until the time and the date that the session in question is going to run. But you can access all of these sessions now, drop into them and take a look. That is pretty much it. There is other areas on the platform. You can access attendees. There's lounge tables. There's booths for exhibitors, but I'll not cloud the issue by going through them. The important bit was accessing your session in the conference, starting out backstage and going live. I hope you find that useful. Of course, if you do have any questions, do come back to me, and hopefully you won't, and we'll see you on the platform on event day. Thank you very much.